All right, so this is the 2nd of June, and I'm looking at the prediction that I made yesterday. I did say that it was going to be dropping, and it did. It didn't quite get down to the place I thought it would. I thought maybe this 30-minute 180 SMA, I hadn't moved it since yesterday. But it kind of petered out at the points right down here, which is also another support that I'd kind of missed. So it was a little bit higher support, but at least I made the right call that it was going to drop. All right, and that is frustrating to say because I lost money yesterday, and you'll see when we get later on into the session today that I tend to make the right calls, but not know how to play them very well, which is really frustrating. But anyway, okay, so I think we're kind of set up for the same kind of thing, except it's a little bit better situation because now we have a lower high, and I think we're ready for another drop. All right, zooming into the 30-minute chart, I now adjusted that to this point right here. So now we're looking at a pretty solid support level with this 30-minute SMA right through there because of the lower points at which it has been hitting. All right, so 15-minute chart, the MACD is starting to tip up, but we are kind of losing momentum. This is a little bit concerning. The RSI here, this point has actually gained momentum since that point right there. So that's something to bear in mind as well. Okay, 5-minute chart. I've put in a possible trade possibility here, and we're looking at an $800 drop down to above that 30-minute SMA. So that's a solid area that we can be trading into. Of course, the stop is too high. It was on 605, so it's at $300 stop. I lowered it down a couple points, so we're talking about a $200 stop or thereabouts here. And I put this down on 75.92, which is kind of the point right over here that I see as a possible place that it might go. So it's a decent trade. It's not quite 1 to 2, but it's close. All right, now bear that number in mind. Okay, we went out to the 15-minute, and I moved the limit order up a little bit to match the SMA here. And then on the 5-minute chart as well, it looks like that's maybe a better place to go. So 93.75. All right. And I went out and looked to see if there were any studies that were coming out. This is after 8:30, so a lot of them usually come out at 8:30. I've kind of seen that happen already. Okay, so there's 2 that come out at 10 o'clock. I don't really think that's going to affect me. All right. So now we've dropped down, and it did hit that $100 mark. I could have gotten out at a $100 profit there. But again, I'm just letting it play out. Okay, and then it zipped up. Did this a number of times. It kind of leveled out and started to tip down again. It's like, okay, that's fine, except that's kind of a concerning bullish move. It did drop back down. And I don't know that the scope of time is very clear on this. I've been sitting here for about 20 minutes, and it's just difficult to keep your head on straight. Each candle, it triggers a nerve reaction. You're like, oh, because you don't know what the future is going to be. So every move that is made, you try to feel whether it's going to be bringing it up or down, or whether this is going to be okay or not. Right now, it's looking pretty good, but it looks like it probably will peter out maybe a little bit sooner. So in order to protect that bottom line, I lowered that stop as soon as it dropped down to $100 and got stopped out. So I ended up making $100 at any rate. Okay, so then it leveled out. I won't give a spoiler, about the next trade. All right, so then I thought, okay, well, all right, this is kind of leveled out. I think we're easily going to get up to this point here. That'd be another 112. I've got a really tight stop, $50. If it just even breathes downward, then it's going to get stopped out. So I think it's going to go up, and then I'll probably get into another short, is my thought process. All right, so it kind of stagnated in this area for quite some time. It did show some upward excitement here. It didn't get up quite far enough, but then it started to make this huge drop. And do you remember the dollar amount that I originally had my my original order set on? It blew below that. So if I had just left well enough alone, left that stop in place, I would have made, I don't remember how much it was, but it was, I think, 200. All right. So that would have been a better trade. But then look at that. That is incredibly strong of a drop. All right. So I thought, well, I want to get a piece of this. I think it's going to drop further. Remember, I said that 30-minute was a pretty solid place where it's going to go. So I got into another short, wanting to get a piece of that, and had a really tight stop here because so I've made 100, lost 50. I don't want to lose more than I've already kind of made today, which isn't much. I will be losing more than that, but only by $50. So really tight stop, and got stopped out. Actually, no, that's not quite right. I raised it up just a smidge. And it did start dropping again, and I thought I was justified in doing that because this is a pretty big trade here, and I think this is looking good. And then it started to go up again. So that third trade, I think I missed something actually. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I only made 3 trades. Okay. So I raised up that stop, and I knew it was going to be close to that $300 mark that I had set for myself. And sure enough, it did trigger. So the trade of 8 risk settings that I had put on triggered that, and was just frustrating as I called that first trade right. Now, that would have only been 200, and at that point, I'm not sure that I would have played it right. Really, truly. I don't know that would have really... I think I would have made another trade, and I probably would have made a long... I don't know. Who knows if I would have done it right or not. All right. Well, one thing I did figure out, I was going to go ahead and just give myself another $50. But they won't let me change it. They've changed their settings now, so I am completely locked out of my account. Nothing I can do about it. I tried changing the amount, but and at any time by setting the limit to larger amount or by disabling, I couldn't turn it off and I couldn't change the amount, which is probably just fine for me because I've got a lot of lack of discipline. But anyway, so now I'm kind of just stuck. I made 1 good trade and 3 lost trades. So yeah, not a good day again. Frustrating. So I guess I'm trying to think through what am I doing wrong? So, just looking at the chart here, that's pretty bullish recovery there, and not terribly surprising because, if you look at the longer term chart, it is uptrending. Even just the 15-minute chart, that 180 SMA, it's leveled off a little bit, but it's still uptrending. So there's a lot of positive news out there. So, and the other frustrating thing, I'm just kind of thinking through, trading early in the morning between 8:30. Let's look at the window of time there. So between 8:30 is usually when I get started, and the opening bell. All right. There was one big move right there, and I did make that call properly. So trading after, I don't know. Would that be a better call? I don't know. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing wrong. Or if there's nothing I'm doing wrong. Maybe this is just the way it goes sometimes. Maybe I'm making too big of a trade. Maybe I'm expecting too much. I mean, but $200 was not that much. I lowered my stop, took my risk off the table a little bit too soon. That was what really got me into trouble. But on the other hand, there's been a number of times where I'd kind of wished I'd taken the $100 and not tried for the, $200 or $300 trade. So, I don't know. Not sure what to say. If you have any thoughts, you can post them. I'm curious to see other people's thoughts on the process. So we'll just have to see what happens tomorrow, I guess.